WW7ATS testing.
Good evening, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, WW7ATS. Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that get together with fast scan television. We have a repeater located up on Cougar Mountain. We transmit on 70 centimeters. It's a crossband repeater, and it spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. And to find out more about the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, Google WW7ATS. That's Google WW7ATS. Take you to our homepage on the internet. There you'll find the frequencies that we transmit on, a little information about the club, and also a link to YouTube where we stream our nets that are held on Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. Also, we'd like to thank the SeaTac Repeater Association for letting us use WW7STR's repeater 147.08 with a tone of 103.5 for our voice transmissions during our nets. So with that, I'll pause in case anybody has emergency traffic or needs to make a contact with somebody before our net gets fully underway on the 08 machine. This is Dave, WW7CYM. And again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 repeater. I'm Dave, WW7CYM. So far checked in by video link is Ron, KD7QKU, Bob, K9PQ, Richard, K7ITX, Wade, W7ITL, James, WU7N, and myself, Dave, KD7CYM. If there's anybody else who would like to check into the net this evening. Let's get the ball rolling on the net this evening. We'll start off with Ron, KD7QKU in Tacoma.
Okay. Well, good evening, everyone. This is Ron, KD7QKU. I'm over in Tacoma, where the grass is white, but the street is bare. It did that yesterday morning too. It snowed for a couple hours, but the street and driveway and everything was so warm that it didn't stick. And then we had almost 2 inches of rain yesterday. And so, maybe was it the day before too? I don't know now. I forgot. And then today we had 43 or 48. I forget. I just looked. Temperature right now is 32.7. It was when I sat down here, and it started snowing here this afternoon about 3:30. Temperature was 34 degrees. It switched from rain to snow. But there again, the road was warm and wet, and the grass and everything was wet. It taken it quite a while. It snowed really hard, but it took it quite a while, so it cooled down enough that it would accumulate on the grass and everything. There was a dad must have brought his kids across the street, and the kids were sliding down the little hill from the fence. There's a fence up there because there's a ball field, and I don't know, it must be 100 feet down, and they were sliding their sleds down to the sidewalk, there so you can see them. So anyway, they just left a minute ago. So that's kind of what's going on over here. So I will turn it back to Dave. This is KD7QKU.
KD7QKU. Let's go to Bothell to Bob. K9PQ.
Hey guys, it looks like we are, as far as video goes, I was not able to connect to the repeater with the switcher, with the video switcher, which is the I should say the stream switcher. I don't know how, if the video has been switched in via you know, the radio or not, but anyway, here I am. Hopefully you will at least see me on Zoom. So let's see, we had 5 inches of snow yesterday in the afternoon and evening, I think it was, and that was a big surprise. I was expecting a very small amount, you know, half inch maybe. And it was heavy snow, and I don't know if you probably heard there's a lot of power outages up in the north end where I am, and I in fact had one for 4 hours this morning, from 2:30 to 6:30. And so yeah, and I got out fine this morning. It's still deep snow, but you know, there were ruts, and it had warmed up enough that, you know, as long as you were careful, there were still patches you had to be careful of out in the road, but as long as you were careful, it wasn't too bad. So I got out today and did a grocery run, which I had intended to do yesterday and should have, but I was not expecting this snow. So anyway, got that done. And so yeah, that's kind of my day. I'll send it back to Net, K9PQ.
PQ, let's go to Kent to Richard, K7ITX.
Hi everybody. I assume you can hear me okay, and we're reporting with about 2 inches of snow and snowing at 33.7 degrees on the east hill of Kent, Washington. So Bob, I'm not sure if you couldn't connect to the GrandStream server. I think that's what you were saying. I can't. James is on echoing. Did I? Okay. Are you having trouble connecting to the GrandStream server, Bob? Is that what you're? Oh, you are, huh? Because that's exactly what I'm doing. So I don't know. Yeah, you might give it another try, actually. So, because I checked right in. Okay, so what the heck would I want to mention? Oh, so Ron, I got a question. Are you sure 2 inches of rain sounds like a heck of a lot of rain? Could it be a little bit of snow melt next in, possibly? Oh, it is. Okay, that explains it then. All right. Because I was thinking 2 inches, we would have had a flood, I think, around at least my house. Let's see, what else? And there's a moonshot tonight. I don't know if you guys know that. I got my alarm. Last time I saw, there's a couple of rockets, at least one tonight. And these are the SpaceX moonshots. I don't remember them going to the moon ever until now. And the last I saw, it was scheduled for 3:30 a.m. launch Eastern time. My alarm clock set for 12:10 a.m. In the morning. I'm generally awake about to fall asleep, so it shouldn't be too hard to see it. And of course, I have, it's not the 3 bears. How about the 3 snowmen? Let's see, how does it go? Papa Snowman, Mama Snowman, and Baby Snowman. K7ITX, back to net control.
ATX, Richard, thanks with that. Let's go to Wade in Tacoma, W7ITL.
W7ITL, just a minute here. TL here, I'm just going to switch myself in. It just take me a few more seconds here. Let's see, everybody's doing good. It's snowing here very lightly right now. Besides that, it's been a pretty good week. Had some, trying to think of what I had going on today. Oh, I had our construction guys come back and they fixed our upstairs window. We replaced it, and we also fixed our new door that we had installed. So that was pretty nice to have. They installed the wrong type of window in our upstairs when they did the first time. So that was pretty cool, and I'm enjoying the snow out there right now, and actually haven't been down there and playing in it. The kids haven't either, but it's nice to look at. I'm trying to think of anything else. Besides that, don't know if I have anything else, but it's nice to see everybody. Oh, there we go. Now I got it coming in. Let's see if I can get myself to look a little better. Looks pretty snowy on my end. I don't know if that's because of maybe my antenna got moved around up on the roof, but I can see myself kind of bounce around on the screen. All right, well, I'll turn it back to you guys, to Dave, and maybe I'll catch you guys on the next round. W7ITL, back to that.
ITL, and time for an ID. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Well, let's go to James in Bellevue, WU7M.
Okay, I'm on Echo Link, and it sounds like I'm coming through. I've got headphones, so hopefully there's no feedback. I see thumbs up, that's good news. Well, anyway, yeah, snow and ice, I guess, is the big local news of the day. Here in Bellevue, the temperature fluctuates by as much as 5 degrees in a matter of hours. It was very cold, and then it warmed up, and then it got very cold again. And, of course, the weather service was saying it was supposed to be raining outside, and we had these big, huge flakes of snow pouring down. But I think it mattered a huge amount exactly where you were. And by that, I mean there's just a difference between northeast Bellevue and downtown Bellevue. So there was a huge amount of weather difference throughout the Puget Sound corridor. But more coming, more on the way. And just looking out there in the Pacific Ocean tonight, looks like a lot of rain that will turn into snow tonight. So it's certainly going to be cold enough. Sorry to hear you lost power, Bob. Glad to hear nothing froze. That's good. Good news that you got through that. And I'm glad you got out to go get to the grocery store. I too thought about it. But then I decided maybe I'll just have to get by with whatever I've got in the fridge until the Snowmageddon 2022 passes. So let's see. Wait, new window. Congratulations. Glad to hear that is moving forward. You still continue to be an inspiration for me that it can be done. A house can be rebuilt one piece at a time. I have to do the same thing here. Well, last thing I would mention, I don't know if anybody else has been following the FTX, that's Foxtrot Tango X-ray debacle. Looks like it's going to be bigger than the Bernie Madoff thing. And today, I don't quite know what to make of this. The chief scamster actually appeared on New York Times DealBook, and it's really interesting. He actually appeared live and answered questions, much, I'm sure, against what his lawyer said. Anyway, looks like 3 minutes is up, so I'll turn it back to net control. Take it away, Dave.
Thanks for that. This is Dave, KD7CYM in Lake City. Got 33 degrees outside. It's neither raining or snowing at this point. Had a power outage last night when the sleet came down like in snowballs, it seemed like, out of the sky. It was just really heavy snow. And much, but it caused heck and caused a power outage for about 5 hours in Lake City. So my trusty blanket and I were together and kept very warm, so it was nice last night. So with that, snow on the ground here is probably reduced to about 5 to 6%. It's really cleared off with the rain that's came through this afternoon. We didn't get a lot of snow. The day before we got about a half inch, and then it's like deteriorated with the weather, with the rain. So that's about what's going on here in Lake City. Been inside, enjoyed my new furnace that I got last year, or this year I should say, and it's been working fine. Once the power came back on, the house heated up and it's back to nice toasty normal. So that's about it here in Lake City. This is Dave, KD7CYM. So let's go up to Ron, KD7QKU.
Okay, KD7QKU again. Well, Richard, I was showing you my rain gauge. I guess I was wrong. It was 1.93 inches of moisture yesterday, and so far today, 43 hundredths. And it's my rain gauge is it's up on the roof of the shed out back, and it's probably about 3 inches across, and it's like a tin can open on top, and it's self-bailing, so the I don't know how many hundredths of an inch it takes before it dumps it and then records it. So anyway, that's what I had. It was a combination of snow rain mix. So I think I said, but we'll say it again for those guys that just showed up, that my friend in Linwood this morning said that they had 6 or 7 inches. His power went off last night about 10:30 and came on sometime in the middle of the night because when he woke up the furnace was on, the house was warm. So anyway, and he lost some limbs on these big trees from the wet, heavy snow. He said there was a lot of limbs down, and when he tried to walk the dog this morning, he has a little dog. He didn't go very far, but he said he could look up the street and there was debris around. We're lucky I didn't lose any power, but yesterday morning when I got up, there was no sign of snow. And then I looked out about 7 o'clock when I was drinking my coffee, and there I thought in the street light I could see snow.
Adjust my settings.
So I got up and I went and looked. Sure enough, it was snowing, and it snowed, I don't know, till 9 o'clock or so. We decided to go to the grocery store about 11:30. By then, most of it had melted. And we kind of stocked up, got a bunch of stewed tomatoes. I bought some lentils and some beans, and Joanne bought a bunch of hamburger, some pork chops. I think we got some little steaks, inexpensive steaks. Sometimes she cuts them up and cooks them with onions and peppers and a little Asian sauce of some kind, and we put it over. Actually, it's really good over hash browns. That's really good. So, and of course, it started snowing here again about 3:30. Got down to 34 degrees. No, it was like 40 when I got up this morning, but it kept dropping. Richard, I hear a terrible echo over at your house, but I'm going to have to turn my speaker down on my computer. So back to that
7QKU. Let's go to a winter wonderland in Port Angeles to Lee in 7KC and see if he's got a connection. In 7KC.
Go ahead.
Got a carrier, but no modulation. K7KC, Richard's going to see if he can do a relay through Zoom for you. KC, go ahead. Richard's going to try to get you through on Zoom.
Can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you. Yes, Casey, Landport Excellence. I guess we're in now. Yeah, for whatever reason, K7QK-SR says it's not logged in here. So there's nothing I can do. I can punch it all day, nothing happens. So I don't have any echo like tonight. We've been out. I got surprised. It couldn't get down to 25 tonight, and that was a big surprise. I watched the national road service at the airport here, which is just 3 blocks away, and it's not going to freeze the honey for things, and all of a sudden I look late this afternoon at dinner time, and it's only 25 tonight. And they're pretty good, pretty accurate. So I've been out to the phone, I've been out fixing up both hummingbird feeders so that they won't freeze tonight. And then when I got back in, I had to send an email to one of the net operators for WW7 to help him out. And so I was a little late, sorry. But anyway, yeah, everything's okay here. Like none of my glasses work, so I'm kind of stuck. I can't really see stuff very well and all that, but we just muddle through it. Anyway, back to you, Dave. This is K7KC Landport Excellence.
KC, and thanks to Richard, K7ITX, for relaying that audio through the 08 machine. Well, let's go to Bob, K9PQ in Bothell.
Hey, well, Richard, hopefully you can switch me in, and sorry about all that confusion I had. I didn't realize you were relaying Lee. I actually, if you have switched me in, I can't see it because it's too delayed maybe on YouTube, but anyway, I'll assume I'm there. So Lee, good to see you back here and joining us, and I'll be looking forward to this meeting coming up on Saturday. I sort of was messing around with some technical things on my end, so I didn't catch everything everybody said. I didn't take notes or anything, so I don't have a whole lot to add this time around. I'll just say this picture behind me is one I took from a wetlands portion of a business park. That's where I used to work. It's North Creek Business Park, and I used to work there years ago, and I still like to go down. It's not far from my house. It's a nice place to go. You can see some wildlife there, not a whole lot, but you do see some different times of the year, and just a nice place to take a walk and take some pictures. So back to that, K9PQ.
K9PQ, thanks for that. Well, let's go to Richard, K7ITX, back in a wooded wonderland.
Well, thank you. I was just getting ready to do the switching, but yeah, it's very helpful when I'm kind of two-fisted at this, if you know what I mean, with everything going on. Okay, wait a minute, let's see. And then I like to put this on full screen. Okay, so I think we're kind of organized.
assuming we can still hear okay. I don't think I changed anything. I switched Bob in and switched. Okay, good. Thank you. Oh, that was Wade. Wade, good for you. Oh man. And I just want to make sure I can't. Okay, well, I'm just a nervous Nelly at this job here. So I just. Okay, good. All right, I see everybody now. All right, back to. In the forest here. That's right. I forgot to tell you that. Okay, remove pin. Okay, add pin. Okay. Oh, sorry for all my confusion here. But I got really excited when rebooting the phone did not fix the problem from lead to everyone. Oh, okay. Well, I'll stay unmuted and I'll leave my settings the same. So if Lee gets back, he'll be able to hear. Bob, North Creek Office Park. I know that place very well. My daughter went to a doctor there, which required me to kind of lay over in the park for maybe 2 or 3 hours at a time. And I found it to be the most perfect place for that layover. And that picture, that picture you had, that water, if I remember correctly, is full of turtles. Do you remember seeing any turtles? Oh yes. I love the turtles. Oh my God. They were so cool, and I didn't even know they were there until one time I go, wait a minute, what is that? And then so when I looked, I kept looking along, I go, wait a minute, that's a turtle over there too. And then once I realized that turtles were there, oh my God, I just had so much fun watching them. They were kind of playful and active too, if I remember, and decent size. These are not your turtles that you would find, in the aquarium. Or I remember we used to get them at the Puyallup Fair and bring them home, and you thought you could feed them, but for some reason they didn't live very long, and so I don't know. Maybe they don't sell them around here anymore because you don't see them at the fair, or chameleons, for example. That was another sad thing. So anyway, K7ITX back to net control. Oh, and by the way, I'll tell you about the trees in just a minute. K7ITX, let's go to Wade in Tacoma, W7ITL. 7ITL. Yeah, it's interesting. I did not know that we had turtles native to Washington State. That's an interesting fact. Or maybe they're transplanted. We'll have to kind of talk about that on the next round. Bob, let me know. Maybe you know. My video is coming in horrendously tonight. I don't know if that's because snow is building up on my antenna, or if I have a bad connection to my antenna right now. But it's black and white. I'm usually got color coming into the repeater over RF. But let's see. Anything else I can talk about? I think I kind of talked about how we got the window replaced on the second floor. That was I did not know we had a bad window, and then they came out to fix it because I told them, it's like, hey, there's water building up inside the window when we get rain. And then the guy that came out to do the warranty repair said, hey, you have the wrong type of window in your it's the kind of window that's supposed to be on its side. They had given me a side window instead of an up and down window, and they replaced it with an up and down window. Now it's got the drain holes in the window, and it's got the spring that opens and closes the window, so you can open it up and not cut your hand off, because that's why I felt like every time I open it, it wouldn't catch. It's like an old 1800s window. It's kind of back to the snow. I'm hoping that we get a few more inches here in Tacoma. I know earlier this week, I think it was either Monday or Tuesday, when I was watching the weather report, they said that Tacoma wasn't supposed to get any snow, 0 inches, and now we're getting like 1 or 2 inches, so hoping the trend just keeps going up. Alright, well, not much left here. so I will turn the net back to Dave, W7ITL. ITL, let's go to WU7N, James in Bellevue.
N disconnected, connected, N7KC. Connected, WU7N.
I thought that might work. I got off, so then Lee got on, and then I got back on again. So hopefully Lee didn't get thrown off. So that's, this is weird. I think I'm talking on two digital channels and an RF channel right now. Anyway, well, your story about the turtles certainly is interesting. They sound delicious. I popped up a little web link. I popped up a little web link in one of our chats. But of course that website is really slow to load. That's a joke. Okay. So anyway, someone, you talk about the turtles coming back from the county fair and dying. Someone asked his wife, why do you keep buying these house plants if all you do is you just kill them? And she answered back, I just want to remind you of what I'm capable of. So that's another joke. Anyway, maybe not funny. My signal coming off the mountain tonight is really good. It's about a 4, but just to give Wade a signal report, yours is not up to its customary crispness. It's about 2 or 3. So for what that's worth. Let me go ahead and reset. Okay. The other thing I was going to mention is that I do appreciate the broad range of topics this net handles, everything from financial disasters to turtles in a pond, and what are the odds that Bob would toss up a background picture and someone else would recognize it? I mean, that's actually pretty amazing when you think about it. So anyway, I just thought I would mention that. Thank you all for participating tonight. I guess we're only about halfway through. Anybody else wants to join the net, either to check in or join the conversation, please do so. My name is James, WU7N with the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. Let's turn back to our net control. Dave in Seattle. Go ahead, Dave. And again, it's ID time for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Well, turtles are native here in the U.S., and especially Seattle. Green Lake in the summertime on the west side of Green Lake near 99 or Aurora Avenue, there's a log that protrudes out into the lake. And on a warm summer day, you can probably see almost a dozen turtles all up on top of the log, just sunning themselves. And I would say the turtles probably are anywhere from 5 inches to 8 inches in diameter. They're pretty good size, and they seem to weather pretty well year to year and seem to find that as a pretty good habitat. So that's pretty good. And Wade with a new window to the world, so that's kind of nice to be able to look out in that snow through a nice clean window now. So that's going on. And hopefully we got Lee connected back up to Echolink. Hopefully that'll work, and we'll have to check with Lee, see how the vision's going now with both eyes, and a little recovery time. So with that, I'll see you back. This is Dave, KD7CYM to Ron.
Thanks again, Dave. This is Ron, KD7QKU. Well, the last time I, fired up my ATV transmitter, my picture coming back looked just about like Wade's, so I don't know if you guys would be interested in seeing that picture or not, but if you were or are, I guess I can't transmit it right now because it's in the other room. I'd have to set up in there. I do have a laptop computer I can set up and put Zoom on. So anyway, let's see. I guess it was yesterday. I think it was yesterday. The last time we had gone over to my brother and sister-in-law's, probably Sunday, and on the way home, the air in the tires, it registered that the left rear tire was low. It had 27 pounds, and the rest of them had, I don't know, 31 or 34 or something. And so when that warning comes on, it always, I think, kind of bothers my wife. So I decided I needed to air up the tire. So I went out and I pulled the car out far enough because my little air compressor hose would reach the rear tires, and I aired up the rear tires, and then I backed it back in a little bit further so I could air up the front tires, and then I was getting in and out of the car. It's hard to get in and out of the car. I mean, you can, but it's not as easy, so I pulled it out so the doors would open better. And anyway, so after I got through, put the little compressor away, hung up the hose, got in the car, and the car went click, 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 click. I thought, oh man. And I looked at the dash and the instrument panel, and there showed the engine, and then it showed a little picture of a battery, and it was red. So I pushed the button again, and it goes click, 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 click. So then I come in and I told Joanne, Darren, I don't know where my little testers are and stuff, but I think the battery in the car is dead. Well, you know, the car is about 4 years old, or the battery's about 4 years old. So I decided it was probably at the end of its life, and it was at the, got cold, and that's what happens in the winter. So I called AAA and said, I think I need a new battery. And the lady said, we'll have someone there in 23 minutes. And so 23 minutes came, and then 24 minutes came, and then 25 minutes came, and the guy drove his pickup into my driveway. He was gray-haired, really nice guy, seemed to know what he was doing, and he got out and hooked his little tester. I said, oh yeah, you're down to 11 volts. Do you want to replace the battery, or you want me to give you a jump? No, I said, I think I want to replace it if you've got something good. And he said, well, it depends which battery it is, but he said it's a big battery, and I think it's an AMG battery. My car is one of those cars that when you come to the traffic light, the engine shuts off, and it restarts when you let up on the brake pedal. But you can turn that feature off, but each time you go, start the car up and go for a new trip, you got to turn it off again. You can't go in the menu and turn it off forever. I was upset, and I called the dealer, I remember, and said, which wire do I cut? And they said, no, don't do that. You'll screw the whole thing up and ruin the warranty and everything else. They said, you just have to push the button. So anyway, he came out, and then the battery had a cover, pulled the cover off. He said, oh yeah, man, that's the big AMG. And I said, oh, what's that going to cost me? He said, well, it's going to cost probably with tax and everything about $250. So I said, go ahead and put it in. Oh, and I said, by the way, how long is it guaranteed for? Oh, he said, we sell really good batteries. They're guaranteed for 6 years. So it had a 6-year guarantee on it. And so he put it in and hooked up the cables, and actually it has a cover over it. You can only just see the cables. And it looked exactly like the battery that was in the car. Handles and everything was pretty much the same. So then he hooked this little gadget up. It's like a code reader, and he hooks it up to the battery. He said, okay, start it up. So I started it up, and then he said, okay, you can shut it off. So then he checked all the codes and said, oh yeah, no, it's charging great. Everything else is fine. So it was the battery. It had just gotten old. So anyway, that's what happened the other day. Back to net, KD7QKU.
QKU. Let's go to Lee, N7KC.
Okay, very good. Well, I'm with echoing now. I've been listening. It sounds good. So, all right. Well, let me start again. That was pretty rough the first time. It's N7KC in Port Angeles. Good evening to you fellers. I was late because we're stringing up heaters for the hummingbird feeders here. And I've been putting it off. I wish I had done it in the daytime. But at the National Weather Service at the airport didn't claim it was going to get to 25 until it was dark. snake, and then we had to scramble. So we got it done, and so they're good for tonight. So we're gonna have 2 cold nights from this. It must be cold air coming out of the Fraser Valley. That's about the only time we get cold here. It just spills right across from Bellingham, right across the Taylor Sea, right into Swim and PA. So, and if there's moisture around, that's when you really get the snowfall. But I don't think there's much moisture because we're not expecting a whole lot of snow. I got battery tenders on both the truck and the Volkswagen today. Well, I've had it on the truck for 3 or 4 days, and I put it on the Volkswagen today. So my solar chargers in the winter time just don't quite cut it. And so to make sure that those batteries up, I put the green battery tenders on. They make no radio noise, and they don't draw anything. When the battery's up, they throttle back. So we're good to go there. What else? Turtles. Back in Ohio, when I was a kid, we had 3 types of turtles. We had the box turtle, the land turtle, the tortoise, and then we had 2 water turtles. One of them was the snapper, and ornery turtles, they get pretty big. I've seen them 18 inches across the back before. But the things we had were probably, you could grab a snapper by the rear leg, and he can't get you. But we had other turtles we called them leatherbacks. And they had they could lay on the bottom, and then they could kind of wiggle into the mud and the sand. You really couldn't see them, and they stick a real long neck up with a snout with 2 little holes in it, and so they could breathe while they were submerged. And doggone those things, you pick one of those up by the rear leg, you're going to get bit. They had a real long neck and they could get to you. So anyway, we used to swim with those guys, you know. Yeah, water snakes too. They used to drop in the water from the trees around the old dam pool where we used to swim. In Port Angeles, back to you, Dave.
Let's go to Bob, K9PQ in Bothell.
Lee, thanks for that slice of life. That's wild with having especially the snakes in the water. I don't think I would ever get used to that. I just don't see how I would get used to that. I guess if you grow up with it, that's different. But I can't remember where I saw this, if I read it or somebody told me, but talking about, playing as boys in the South, with the poisonous snakes that they would have in the water there, and they said, oh, it's no big deal, if they get too close, you just kind of splash water at them to make them go away. So, kids, I guess, it's like, well, it won't hurt me. I know how to deal with it. But yeah, that would keep me out of the water for sure. Yeah, so, as I say, the snow hit pretty hard up here, and I was listening to the scanner last night, which was very active, as you might imagine, with everything going on, and especially up around by me. Lots of trees down in the roads. We had limbs that I heard crack through my double pane windows, inside, out behind my place. So it was a very heavy snow, and there was wind. I don't know how much the wind contributed to it, but the snow for sure was heavy and dropped a lot of limbs, and apparently dropped a lot of trees as well. I didn't think the ground would be soft enough for that to happen, but somehow I guess the weight of the snow and the wind combination took them down, and there were a number of them across roads, very generally around up in this area. I wouldn't say real close to me, but Woodinville, Mill Creek, all around that area, Briar. And so yeah, a pretty eventful night last night. So while I wasn't able to sleep, partly just my sleep schedule being weird as it is sometimes, but also with the, just kind of got me on edge a little bit with the power being out. At least it gave me something to occupy my time time, and there was a lot going on, I'll say. Okay, I'll send it back to that, K9PQ.
K9PQ, thanks for that. Let's go to Kent to Richard, K7ITX.
Yeah, storms, what can I say? God, Bob, all you guys are bringing up old memory, but Bob, what you described reminds me of an ice storm. I was in a couple of them, but one in particular in Portland, power went out. There's about an inch and a half, an inch of ice on everything, every single thing. And so the power's out, and when the power goes out, as you know, then everything kind of shuts down, kind of gets weird, this weird, eerie quiet, especially if it's, in the middle of the night. And then the crash, explosions and crashing, and it's just echoing through the dark, in pitch dark, and flash, these brilliant blue flashes in the sky every 10 or 15, 30 seconds. And then the flashing red light and the sound of a big heavy diesel truck pulling in, didn't have its sirens on, but its lights on. Oh my God, I gotta stop. This is freaking me out. So, and then what do I have in front of me? In front of you guys or behind me? Jeez, this is the storm from, that knocked Covington Jim's power out. This is the storm that caused all the havoc up at Tiger Mountain. I'm not kidding you. I'm sorry, the trees was the foreshadowing I was trying to create. The last scene before this. I'm having fun with this green stream business. It really adds to my embellishment of stories. You always think I'm telling the truth. But I swear to God, I think I can see a turtle in Bob's picture. Seriously. So, and Ron, God dang it, you said something. If we lead dual lives, and I'm wondering if this was happening the same exact time you described Joanne noticing that little indicator for your tire pressures, because the same thing happened to me, and Debbie saw it. But you were in a good spot. You were at home. I wasn't. I was on the road, and I had to try to use one of the gas station things that only works if you put in 6 quarters, and then it doesn't really work. You hope it worked. K7ITX, back to that control.
ITX. Well, let's go to Tacoma to Wade, W7ITL.
7ITL, just give me a minute to switch myself in. In Tacoma, so I think I'm wearing out. I thought I had something more to talk about. Only thing I really wanted to comment was Richard. I don't know, is that a picture of your house, or whose house is that? You'll have to fill me in afterwards. But yeah, it's wow, that sucks. Hopefully get that fixed. Let's see. The turtles. I did not know that we have 2 native species of turtles in the Northwest, and that we have apparently 3 turtle species that are invasive, and that was interesting to read that article. So, snapping turtles, spiny soft-shell turtles, and there was one other one. But then there's a couple sea turtles that come, like leatherbacks and loggerheads that come and hang out on the coastline. But I'm going to have to be
paying more attention now to see if I see the turtles when I'm driving by or hanging out by lakes. Now that I know that they're there, I never noticed that we had native species of turtles out there, so I didn't think that they could handle our climate. So I guess I learned something new today. Let's see, and yeah, I think that's it. Maybe we'll have more later in the next round if it gets to me. W7ATS back to net.
An ITL and time to get an ID, and again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Well, let's go to James, WU7N in Bellevue.
Okay, now I'm coming through. I guess I have to wait for the IDer to be completely done. The IDer wins in the battle of the microphones. That's good to know. So Richard, you got to tell us before we run out of time what happened to the house, when that happened too. Let's see. Oh, when it comes to midnight storm sounds, last night I had a friend of mine said that it's just to the south of me here. They lost power at midnight and knew it immediately because apparently there was this big loud explosion. Apparently a transformer exploding. They have overhead wires there where we have underground wires on my street, so all the power just either stops or, as it did before they replaced the wires, it just kills all the earthworms, I guess, when it doesn't go where it's supposed to go. Well, on the subject of water moccasins, we went from turtles to other aquatic life forms. We had water moccasins in an irrigation ditch that ran behind my house with some property on it in North Texas. And we had people keep telling us that water moccasins were not native to that area, they were not around there. So I made it one of my personal goals while I lived there was to try and catch one alive, which of course my mother, when she found out I was doing, was absolutely horrified at my zoological perseverance in trying to prove someone else wrong. They get very aggressive. There's one time of the year where I guess they're mating or something, and I guess they just get aggressive to everything. But I never actually heard of anybody getting bit. They open their mouth and show this big white mouth, which is, I guess, what they do to other snakes. I guess, it's just like ham radio operators. My mouth is bigger. I don't know. It's the same thing we do, I guess. But anyway, that was my experience with water moccasins as a kid. And never did succeed in capturing one dead or alive. Maybe that's a good thing, since they do have a bite. So anyway, well, we got 8 minutes left. Let me turn it back to net control. Dave, man, over in Seattle, KD7Z land.
Thanks for that. Well, let's see, it's been an exciting week. On Monday, I was scheduled to get a COVID and flu shot, and I wasn't too sure what the weather was going to be like, so when I got up on Monday morning, I was going to say, am I going to have to trudge through a foot of snow to get to the facility at Kaiser at Northgate to get my shot, and I did. Got there was no snow on the ground, there was no ice on the road, it was just smooth sailing all the way through. So, got there, actually they got me in about 20 minutes early, and I got both shots, but they said, the COVID shot will probably give you a sore arm, and I said, oh, okay, and I will say, the COVID shot did give me a sore arm. It is still sore. This is day 3, and it's tender to touch within about 4 inches of the injection site. But I don't know if it's the combination of getting both at the same time that inflamed the arm or not. But hopefully in about 10 days I'll be immune, or at least not going to die from the flu or COVID. So anyway, some protection will be there. And I do have some upcoming travel to do, going down to Phoenix for about 4 weeks in the middle of this wonderful winter weather. I'll really miss it, but anyway, I'll be prepared to get on a plane, although I will be wearing a mask.
much what's happening here. So let's go back up to Ron, KD7QKU.
Okay, thanks again, Dave, and hello to everyone again. KD7QKU here. Well, it's been interesting stories. I've never been in the South. I've never seen copperheads and water moccasins. But I knew a guy from here that went down there, visited his uncle, and his uncle taking him fishing, and he said he couldn't fish. He was too worried about the snakes. He saw a few of them swimming on top of the water. He said one of them even tried to climb in the boat. He said that was too much for him. He said he wasn't interested in fishing, and he loved to fish. But he said his uncle, like maybe James was saying, just, was nonchalant about the whole thing. But he said, holy smokes, he was ready to jump out of the boat, but he couldn't jump out of the boat because there was probably crocodiles and snakes. So anyway, we're pretty lucky here. We don't have very many poisonous things. In the eastern Washington, there's quite a few turtles. And I would imagine there's a bunch of little lakes right around here in the neighborhood. Snake Lake over here, I don't know if it gets its name from snakes or not, but I've never walked around it. We went over there one day and was kind of thinking about it, but the sign and the new sign in the parking lot kind of deterred us. It said, that break-in in your car was very likely if you parked it there. So, and I had a lot of stuff in the car at that time. Probably even had a gun in it, so I wasn't too sure I wanted to leave it parked there, so we didn't walk around. Richard probably knows about Snake Lake. He's nodding up and down. And there's I think even across the street there's another little lake. I think it's over by where Debbie kind of grew up. Yeah, he's nodding up and down. So anyway, let me let it drop. Got a story to tell. So we had everybody over here at our house on Sunday. My son and his wife, and our great-grandson, his son and his wife and their 3 children. And then Stephanie and Mike has a stepson, and his name is Stephen, and he has a girlfriend that we had never met, and she's the one that socializes rabbits and has this big business. And so I got acquainted with her. She's very nice lady. So Stephen's 30, and she must be around that age. You go on Highway 18 from Auburn, headed towards Covington or someplace, and up on the left-hand side, she said that she has 5 acres. Showed us a picture of her house, and a really nice house, and then she showed us her barn. She had this barn built, and it sort of matches the house. The house is kind of like a big A-frame. It has, windows in that A part of the house, and the house was furnished nice. But she had the same floor in her barn, I think, we have in our house, and it was like a recreation room. And that's where she keeps her rabbits, and that's where she socializes her rabbits, and that's where the clients come. And she has 2 boats, and she likes to fish, and one of her favorite lakes to fish, Richard, is Surprise Lake. You probably know where Surprise Lake is. And so, I don't know how big her boats are. One of them must be about a 12-foot, because I don't think you can use motors in Surprise Lake. But anyway, she wanted Joanne and I to bring the 12-foot aluminum boat up there in the spring and go fishing with her and stuff. But yeah, this lady has a lot of money. She's made a lot of money on these rabbits. She said she had delivered rabbits in 49 states, and she's even delivered rabbits to Alaska. People pay her to train these rabbits or housebreak them or socialize them, whatever she does, and then they pay her to fly those rabbits, and she accompanies them to wherever they go. But so she must be doing pretty good. She said she had 30 some of her own, and she boards rabbits when the people want to go on vacation. So she said she had 20 or 30 rabbits that she was boarding. So, I don't know how much she gets a day. Maybe she gets $20 a piece. So she's making some money on boarding, and gotta look to commercializing rabbits for pets. Back to net, KD7QKU.
For that, Ron. Well, all good things have to come to an end, and it's time to sign off the net for the evening for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. We'd like to thank the Z-TAC Repeater Association for allowing us to use the 08 machine for our voice transmissions for our nets held on Wednesdays and Saturdays. So with that, I'll sign off at 9 o'clock. This is Dave, KD7CYM for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society on the 08 machine. Good evening all.